Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing I Am Shenandoah Bong in the 5-minute pool on ICC. Okay, let's play a Sicilian. Have not played this player before. I like to play a6 against knight c3 because I think it's flexible. For instance, when white does what he's doing here, you put the bishop on b7 to oppose their bishop on g2. Okay, so I think I'm just going to play d6 now. Probably look to play e6, knight d7, etc. coming up. He's going to open the position, however. Interesting. Okay, so let's take. E6 is what I think I should play, so yeah. Just got to make sure that I don't fall victim to any tactics on this diagonal. That's one thing you do not want to happen. Yeah, let's put the bishop on e7. For instance, you don't want to play knight f6 too soon, because e5 might hurt you. So I might have to put my queen on c7 first in preparation for knight to f6. He could try to pop the queen out to, say, g4 right here, but I think just g6 is solid in reply. Yeah, so we're going to put the queen on c7 first. It's a useful square anyways. Get this going, put pressure on e4. He has that sufficiently defended now. I like the fact that he's played a3. I always feel like in these structures when white plays a3 that black is already doing fine. Okay, and g4. I have half a mind to challenge that with h5, but that may be a little rash. But you know what? It's Blitz. I'm extremely tempted. h5, g5, knight g4, g6, though. Yeah, I don't know if I want to allow that. I could also just play h6, although that invites f4. Knight here comes to mind, too. Trying to go to b6. Let's try that. So we'll pull the knight back here, looking for e5 or b6. I suspect he's going to follow up with f4. But let's try to send the knight into c4 and see what happens. It's going to be irritating to his dark square bishop. So this is something you might do too. You might bring the knight away from f6 as a preemptory strike against him pushing his kingside pawns. Okay, so we're going to go here. He pulls the bishop back to c1. I like to see that. Knight c6 or knight d7. Which to play? Probably knight d7. Let's do that. Weird position already. He's had to retreat, but he does have some imposing kingside pawns. I'm just leaving my king in the center to await further developments, just to see if he continues advancing or if he does something else. He probably doesn't want to play b3 because that will weaken his knight on c3, so that's one thing I have going in my favor, having established this knight on c4. Drops that knight back. Okay, that leaves g4 undefended. So I could play knight f6 if I wanted. Could also think about h5 again. Try to get him to take, perhaps. H5 is kind of cool. I like that move. I'm going to do it. You might play g5, but then I'm thinking playing h4. h4, g6. Whose king is weaker? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, let's try it. Maybe g6, I can just take him. h3 is going to put his bishop on h3. Let's drop this guy back first. Yeah, just retreat for the time being. Knight c5 looks typical. So I'm holding off on h3 now. Just don't want to allow that knight to come to g3 later. Knight d4. Okay, so now I could play that if I wanted, the h3 move. Yeah, probably a good time to do it. Let's play it. Rook h4 perhaps, or maybe just g6 if I want to rule out any business involving him playing g6. Yeah, let's do that. One major question is, where is my king going at this point? I also got to bear in mind that now that I played g6, my rook on h8 is potentially exposed to this bishop. Like, he could take twice on b5. and then try to play bishop takes h8 at the end. I don't think it's that great for him, though. Okay, so rook h4 here, maybe? Yeah, let's do it. Send the rook in to terrorize him. Rook takes f4, also gets rid of that whole idea. e5. Can I punch him with e5? Trying to weaken the g5 pawn. All right, let's give it a go. Take. Only problem is it weakens d5 for me, but I really like the look of this. Let me just castle now. Yeah, let's castle queenside. Finally get that king to safety, right? Wants to plop a knight on d5, that's for sure. But I think he's going to have to weaken himself in the process. And I got to play faster too, so let's do this. I was thinking he's going to have trouble with bishop takes g5 being possible. Okay, so let's take here first. But also knight takes g5 is pretty darn tempting. So I want to get at that bishop. Knight takes g5. Yeah, let's do that. I know he has bishop takes e5 here, but I was thinking that this would be good. Maybe bishop d4? I don't know. I do not know at this point. All right, I gotta hurry though. I can also play rook takes d4 if I want. Yeah, let's try that. Then I'm going to take on f3 and go bishop takes d5. Just have no time here, is the thing. Take. Take. Try to get rook d1 after that. My pawn on h3 is doing some nice work. Ooh, this might be too little too late, though. We'll find out. I'm going to get two connected passers over here. It's going to be tough to defend, however. Let's just go here. You can bring his king in. Yikes. Help. Check. Check. I think I would take a draw at this point, actually, because I might lose otherwise. He doesn't want to gamble. King c6 gets mated, so yeah, he probably has to play the king. Whoa, he's actually going to try this. Wow. He's going for the win. Going for the win, folks. Let's push the b pawn, of course. Let's get this over here next. Oh no. Oh, he could have played king c6 there. That would have been trouble for me. Oh, we control this. Can I mate with this amount of time? It's kind of doubtful, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Oh, I got him. All right, with 1.7 to spare. Yeah, well, he should have taken the draw, clearly, but I can understand his desire to try to test me on the clock because my time management leading up to that point had left something to be desired, to put it mildly. That was a fun game, despite the fact that I almost had a heart attack at the end. It was a very fun game. You see this scenario a lot where one side, usually black, tries to delay castling. And you guys know I play the con Sicilian a lot. And that's one thing I've noticed in the con that black does time and time again, even though this wasn't like a proper con. It just turns out that your king is better off in the center when white is pushing those kingside pawns real quick. Because in some situations you can castle queenside, like I ended up doing. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about what happened with me pushing my h-pawn and him playing his g-pawn forward. As always, he had this threat of g6, and I was trying to counteract that with play against his pawns. His center is very fragile, and when I'm able to play h3, that creates not only mating threats, but also just long-term king issues for him, even persisting into the endgame, as you could see when some of the pieces got swapped off. This situation, if nothing changes, I think is highly favorable to black, but if he's able to occupy d5 and create some confusion that way, I don't know. Maybe I should have played rook takes d4 right away. This was probably a good move, right? Yeah, rook takes d4 should have been played immediately. I played queen c7 for queen d6 rather first. And he could have played c4 supporting the d5 pawn. Everything was coming crashing down on d5. That was what I was trying to do by taking with the knight on g5 instead of the bishop. I'm going to take a real quick look at this game. In the opening, just to illustrate what I was talking about with that e5 move and how you have to be on the alert for it. So say after bishop e3, I had just played knight f6. Looks like a routine developing move. e5. He uncovers the attack on my bishop. He hits f6. And the problem is, after I take here, he plays e takes f6 in between move. I take on f1, and he takes here with tempo against my queen, which is going to buy him time to win the bishop back next. And he's going to have two minors and a much better position against my rook and, what do I have? Rook and a pawn. Usually the two minors are going to be better than the rook and the pawn. So that's why I played queen c7, just trying to lend support to this guy. I got to leave in a second, so I'm just going to check a couple key things. Here I did this whole knight d7, b6 to c4 maneuver. h6 also was decent. I thought about h5, but I wasn't sure about the ramifications of this. With his knight on d4, the g6 idea is more dangerous, because if ever I take, he can take here. But h6 deserves some credibility too. I wonder if it's possible after f4 that now I play h5, with the difference being that if he plays g5, I go knight g4, and the bishop is hanging. There's no pawn on f2 defending it. So that also crossed my mind. Okay, as played though, we get this double-edged position. I get my knight all the way into c4, attacking e3 and b2, so he backs off. He backs off again. Here the computer says just castle, but I couldn't resist trying to take it to him on the king side. In the same spirit that I played this, keep my king in the center. And I was trying to make him guess whether I was going to play h3 or not. Maybe I should have played h3 a little earlier than I did. But I was trying to stop knight e2 to g3 if he ever wanted to do that. g6. The position is still looking fine for me. Rook h4. e5 is decent here. I was mentioning that when I play g6, I have to be cautious about my rook on h8. He could try to exploit that with this operation, attacking my queen and hitting the rook. But I think after queen d7 or queen c6, take and take, with 4 minor pieces versus 2, similar situation I was talking about earlier, the 2 minor pieces should be better than the rook. Okay, so here I did play e5, trying to make my rook useful on the 4th rank, not only attacking f4, but also assisting in the attack against e4 should the f-pawn get traded for the e-pawn. Looks like I played this correctly. I have an advantage at this point, but not much time. Knight e6, trying to maneuver and attack g5. And here e4 would have been good. That's a nice move. Pawn e4, hitting the bishop. Yeah, because I think white absolutely cannot allow something like this to happen, because now this bishop is going to be an assassin on this long diagonal. I'm threatening the knight. I'm also threatening f2. You can see that black is winning here. There's not enough threats against my own king. So if he takes, am I just going to take on g5 at that point? Bishop takes or knight takes? Yeah, bishop takes g5. Try to force the queen away from the bishop. And white's position is on the verge of collapse. Here, f5. We're just hammering him on this diagonal. Yeah, and you can see the role of the h3 pawn again, and how much emphasis it places on my light square diagonal attack. So instead, I played knight takes g5. He took here. Queen c5 is correct. I had 45 seconds left at this point. So black is better because white is going to meet his maker on this diagonal. That's the main reason. He can't really stop me from playing knight takes f3 because his bishop doesn't have a safe square it can go to on g2 or e4. I attack both those squares. So if I can just navigate the short-term tactics, I should be able to play knight takes f3 and then come crashing through on d5. Yeah, and crucially here, if he trades queens and now plays c4, I think one difference is my rook is pointed at the pawn. So after take, let's just say he takes here, knight takes, rook takes, yeah, and at the very end, rook takes c4, and this is going to be falling very soon. I've also got the bishop on c5 controlling g1. But I should have just played rook takes d4 here, yeah, right away. I did that, and he had a chance to play c4 and stabilize things. I almost certainly would have lost if this happened. Instead, he did this, repeated, and I said, you know what? Let's take matters into our own hands here. I don't think he would have gone for the draw anyways, but this just felt like the way the position should be played. Yeah, and black is doing extremely well here. You know what I think I missed? I bet after rook takes, it's better just to play rook takes d5 immediately. Yeah, I took with the bishop, allowing him to sacrifice the exchange. You see how powerful that light square bishop is? It's even better for me to hold off on winning the exchange because I can win an entire rook by playing this move. Keep this bishop back. Don't let him take here. Because now if he takes, well, he's hopelessly pinned. Power of the two bishops and also the pawn on h3 controlling g2, stopping him from going here. If knight g1, only move to try to safely defend the rook, we just take. And we're winning f3. That would have been a nice way to cap things off. Rook takes d5, and look at that, minus 12.5. If he moves this rook away, he's just losing on d1. If he goes here, probably rook f5 is easiest, among probably many other winning moves. Ooh, that would have been a nice one. So instead, I only won the exchange. He won that crucial h3 pawn. Yeah, now it was just a time scramble. Black is much better here. I'm currently up a pawn, and I win his queenside pawns, but you saw what happened. He gambled in the time pressure, looking to get the full point, when he probably should have just agreed the draw here after these series of checks. And I think I was going to go for the draw. I don't want to push my luck with 15 seconds left. So note, he can't go here because of that checkmate. So he has to go back to either e4 or e5. But if he goes to e5, I have check here, skewering his king to his rook. So he doesn't want to do that either. So king e4. I deliver the check. Yeah, and he just did this, allowing bishop c3. And you saw what happened. There was a close call when I pre-moved some move. Yeah, like right here, I pre-moved rook h5. But then I realized, before I could cancel the pre-move, that if he goes king c6, he'd be threatening my rook and threatening mate. So that would have been an unfortunate ending to that one. But I was in time scramble mode. Yeah, and you saw what happened from here. All right, so fun game. I think that game showed a lot of typical Sicilian themes. If I had more time, I would explain them in even greater depth. But you can see the dynamic potential that I was able to unleash, especially on this h1, a8 diagonal. That light square bishop on b7, that was playing a big role in this entire game. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. And I'll be back soon with another video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.